with the addition of a new rule, B6, to be read as follows. The passage of board bills for the appropriation of RAMS settlement funds shall require the affirmative vote of 2/3 of all members of the Board of Aldermen. I think that's an important amendment to adopt. I think it forces agreement. We often hear that this is once in a generation, once in a lifetime, transformative money. I think this rule embodies thoughtfulness, allows us to have broad agreement. I think it prevents an abuse of power. It says that we've got 10 wards representing and their representatives coming to an agreement on what is very important money. And it puts us all on Front Street in terms of being accountable to say that we have consensus on where these critical funds should be spent. I think there's governments often at all levels deliberate on 2/3 vote and the importance that it brings to the issue or to the use. I think a simple way to think about it is 50% is most people agree, 2/3 is a large majority agrees. And shame on us if we can't get there in terms of this forced compromise to ensure that 2/3 of this body decides where those transformative once in a generation funds go.
How do I tell the people, oh, we're going to set that money aside and let 10 people decide that that's important, that we tear down these properties when we haven't decided that all along? And I begged the former mayor to put that money in there. So how do I do that? That's what I want to ask.
That you're having. I would argue, to your point that's saying that you felt like the Board of Aldermen was cut out of ARPA dollars. I would think setting up this construct in our rules puts the Board of Aldermen squarely in power to decide where these funds go. On a side, you have my vote to prioritize the demolition of vacant properties and the board up of vacant properties as the first dollars out in this. And I guarantee you and I can get 10 votes for that no matter what. So I do think that this sets up a construct to exactly have power, put the Board of Aldermen at the center of this decision to say, hey, we got to get 10 votes. Here's where we should prioritize these funds first. And I think through compromise, we can get that agreement pretty quickly. I look back at the vote that we took on originally deploying some of these RAM settlement proceeds for tornado relief instantly off the top. I think it was unanimous. So I think when there is urgency and the topic is of a matter of grave concern, like the issues you're speaking about in your community, I don't hesitate to think that we can't get the 2/3 vote here because it is that important.
For me, I always want to let the people that we represent and that we serve direct my comments, so I'm going to just stay focused on there. What I will say is that if we do vote this rule together, then I do have an amendment on the drive that I will propose next. That will be amendment proposal number 3 that would propose that we do a 2/3 vote majority for the allocation of any city funds. I think if we're saying that we want to make sure we have these conversations and we really want to have consensus before we put money out, for me, I would be okay with that if it was a rule for all of our procedures and not some, and if we made it as easy as possible for certain, again, why certain folks are in need to not feel that way. I'm very honored to represent people who just are extremely compassionate people and really care deeply. And I know for them, a message that they have for me over and over again is that they want to see North City get money. I have residents that do not live in North City, but they feel very strongly that they had a tornado. They lost everything they had. They were disinvested before that. Had that happened to us, we would want you to be moving some money right now and talking about getting us funds. We understand that you won't move the bill, but I do have just a constituency that cares deeply about all of their residents that feel.
So again, and I want to tell the Alderman from the 7th, I'm glad your people are so compassionate, but the people in my ward tell me we are so tired of people who don't live in our community speaking for us, who don't represent us, speaking for us, telling us what should happen, when we're telling you what we want, and you going down there and saying what we want, and then people going up, standing up and saying, but I know what you want more. I never try to speak for the 7th Ward, and I'm compassionate for the people in the 7th Ward too, but I don't try to speak for them because they got a representative. So until you come over here and become the alderwoman of the 12th, let me speak for the 12th Ward. We're going to be okay. We're going to rise like the phoenix. We're going to do what we need to. We're going to be okay. And we don't need pity from people saying, oh, I'm just those pathetic people over there. And this is what should happen.